2024. It's been a few days since I've been on. That's been for different personal reasons, but I've been getting a lot of valuable information from both my intel source and from you, the viewer, about things that have been going on, particularly on my side of the universe, which is the Northeast, more specifically New York City. And it is concerning enough that the viewers have been talking about it, concerning enough that local news has been talking about it, as well as mainstream news for New York. So there's been an uptick in drone sightings. Originally, these were thought to be your average hobby drones, maybe a foot by a foot in dimensions, and that it was non-threatening, but still cautious in the idea that they were going around sensitive areas. Upon further investigation, which it actually made Staten Island Advance, which is silive.com, there was an individual who talks about these things are the size of vehicles. I happen to know that individual and reached out to him. If you read the article, he is a former Air Force enlisted individual and has vast knowledge of planes, of drones, of numerous different flying vehicles. And he is deeply concerned. News has actually downplayed a lot of what he said. And knowing him for as long as I have, he is definitely concerned about it. He talks about in the SI Live article that these drones are about the size of a small car or even an SUV, and they are directly in the flight path of Newark Airport, JFK Airport. When airplanes, commercial airliners were actually flying, they would turn off the drone would turn off its lights. And I don't know if that was to be stealthier or that it was to not distract the airlines, whatever the reason being, it is definitely cause for concern. I personally think that this is either a state agency, if not a terror network within the US that are operating these things. And it puts our government in a catch-22 because they are not, according to FEC rules, allowed to shoot down these things over land unless they pose an imminent threat. And as of right now, there is no reason to think that they're going to cause an imminent threat, but does not mean that there is room for concern. I think there is definitely some evil-minded people that are dealing with these drones. I do not think that they are here to study things. I think it's just a strategy at this point. I think they're going unchecked, and I think they're going to be used to cause chaos in the near future. I do not have any other information other than that. If I did, I would obviously call the authorities. This is just my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that these, at this point where it's becoming so apparent that they are near a president-elect's personal residence, they are in flight paths and near sensitive infrastructure, they are in flight paths of commercial airlines. This is not a good thing. This is the enemy studying our patterns in order to present a problem, to present a forward strike. And I think each and every one of you should be very concerned about what is going on with this. There's very to little to no talk on by politicians, lawmakers. There is a lot of information out there, whether that's on X, whether that's through other forms of social media, documenting these things. They're huge. They're massive. These things are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of $1,000s worth of equipment, and the average hobbyist does not have the money to afford that. So who's sponsoring things and who's providing the money for these things is yet to be discovered. But there was a very influential conservative artist who came out and said, if that was my land it was flying over, I would shoot that thing down and dissect it myself so I can get answers for the people. And I'm not advocating for any of that. But there's a lot of information that is yet to be discovered on that. It is very, very deeply concerning. Also in the news, which was provided by one of our viewers, talks about the Daniel Penny trial. So Daniel Penny is a former Marine who is a architect student in New York City, was taking the train where an emotionally disturbed person was on the train threatening to kill people, harm people. He restrained them allegedly using a chokehold. Now, this went on for 6 minutes. Police were on scene. It's documented. The individual, Mr. Neely, had a pulse when the police were on scene. And long story short, Mr. Penny was arrested, was tried, was found not guilty by a jury of his peers. This has been going along the lines of things I've been saying now for months. The city of New York and the state of New York are responsible for that death. They did not provide adequate enough police in the subway system, and it's very apparent. The crime in the New York City subway system is absolutely horrendous and through the roof. That's one, how it's possible. Two, the amount of mentally unstable people running around the streets of New York has skyrocketed since the de Blasio administration. It is causing cause for alarm for the everyday citizen. It is now tying up the police, fire, and EMS crews because now they have to deal with this emotionally disturbed individual, and it is absolutely wreaking havoc. So what happened to Daniel Penny can happen to you. And if you continue to go to these blue cities, there's a high probability that it will happen to you. I'm not trying to scare you to not going on these vacations, but just be mindful that you're going to be put in a situation, or not that you're going to be, you're going to have a high probability of being put into situations where you're going to have to be your own police and your own protection. You're going to have to be your own emergency medical services to provide aid to yourself or to others. Today's video is highlighting the necessity for Dark Knight A Kit Pro. This kit comes with everything from tourniquet to a bleed stop hemostatic agent to different things that you can utilize to render aid for yourself and one another. That could be bought on darknightmedics.com. Link will be in the description box below. But to what we were talking about. The more that Donald Trump is putting out his agenda for either government efficiency or the different things that are going to be implemented when he takes back power in January 20th, I believe, the more the left is pushing back and trying to jam things down our throat. You're seeing a lot of distractions happening right now. One being in Syria. Syria is an absolute hit job. It's a distraction. Watch how the markets are moving right now. Watch what Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and all those people, stocks that they're buying. It's public information. When you start following money trails, you're going to have an idea of what is on the horizon. If you start seeing that they're buying different things that are produced in Indonesia, Taiwan, so on and so forth, those are typically used for components for weaponry, which means there's a possibility we're going to be going to war. Now, I never advocate for war on this channel. I never do. I believe in being self-reliant and standing up for your own rights, but I do not advocate for war. That's going to be American lives lost. Our sons, our daughters, our grandkids, our brothers, our sisters' lives are going to be lost as a result. But you need to be very mindful of that. I would not sleep on this whole drone thing. This drone thing is deeply, deeply, deeply concerning. I cannot stress that enough. I'm actually going to make another phone call to the individual that was given the interview on one of the local newspapers, and to see if there is any algorithms on time, on dates, on features, any events that we're seeing these drones. And they're popping up all over the East Coast as well as this country. We had the low-tech balloons, and now we're having Cadillac-sized drones being flown around. Somebody is controlling these. The bigger the drone, the further away the individual has to be to control that. Does not put outside the realm of possibility that they're coming from overseas. I personally think that they're bad actors that are happening in the US that are controlling these things. And I think that the potential for something to go hot is very apparent, and it could happen very soon. Iran had put out a bounty on very prominent Republicans. Why is it allowed to fly near the private residence of a president-elect? Why is that happening? Why is this not being jammed and brought down? Why is this not being forced to fly over water where they could take a missile or a gun and knock that thing out of the sky and then studying it? Why is this allowed? Why is this happening? Think about the why. You have to question everything that is being presented to you. Believe of half of what you see and nothing that you hear. You have to go out and physically do the investigation yourself. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I have a very good view from where I live, especially I live right by a lot of critical infrastructure. I'm going to be going out and just taking observations throughout the night sky over the next couple of days to see what I see. And I will be one of those sleuths calling it in if I do see anything concerning. Because at this point, there is something absolutely major up, and it should be concerning and alarming to each and every one of you. Hello, Mark. Hope all is well. I'll shoot you a text after this video is done. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments, concerns, things they'd like to voice before I end the video? Dark Knight Medics channel on both Instagram and on the website. We're going to start uploading cool videos on tactics and how to use everything in the kits that we're selling. Check that out. It's a brand new website, maybe about a week old. Definitely want you guys to check out all the cool features. The prices are definitely translating cheaper on the website than are on Etsy. And as we get more gear out there, things are going to be cheaper, things are going to be more readily available. There's definitely training videos on there. There's right now we're offering one training video on that website. So check that out. The training video will go over everything in the kit that you're purchasing. And I definitely think that is a must know, especially giving the alternatives to different ways you can use the gear in your kit. You should definitely take a look at the website, darkknightmedics.com. All right, so gold is at $2,720 an ounce right now. It's going to continue to go up. I think that with everything going on, jumping into Bitcoin at $100,000, your safer bet is definitely gold, silver, and other precious metals. But I am not giving financial advice. That's just my personal opinion. Definitely look into that. Check out jmbullions.com for up-to-date gold, silver, platinum, palladium prices. No affiliation to our channel with that. That's just the website I use. And darkknightmedics.com for all of your tactical first aid needs. So keep an eye on the night sky. If you see anything and grab a cool video and you want to share it with me, do so at cityprepper718@protonmail.com or reach out to me on Instagram at darkknightmedics. We can also be reached on the website, darkknightmedics.com. Last thing before we go, have tangible goods on hand: gold, silver, canned goods, consumables, and freedom seeds, and your boomsticks. Those things should be readily available at all times, especially in the weeks, days to come. Again, I do not have any other information other than that. I am deeply, deeply concerned with the more and more information that's coming out, especially when you have a conservative artist talking about this on Instagram. I think that if he knows about it and he's being very boisterous about what is happening with these drones, I think is definitely some reason to be concerned and alarmed about what the frequency of these things have to mean for anything and what is on the horizon in the next days, weeks to come. Remember, I told you this a long time ago. The deep state, the left, is a wounded animal. A wounded animal is a very, very dangerous animal. They're going to be jamming laws. They're going to be jamming executive orders. They're going to be jamming this, that, and the other down our throat as long as they can. Donald Trump takes power. And if they can grasp power by having a massive coordinated attack, not saying that's going to happen, just speaking out loud. If they can do that, to do what they did in Ukraine, what they did in South Korea for, I believe, a day, they did martial law, they'll do that in order to prevent the inevitable from happening. So, as always, stay tuned for further. Check out darknightmedics.com. Share this video. Hit the like button in the bottom if you haven't. There's 10 of you watching right now. I see 2 like buttons. Let's get this video out there. Let's get this algorithm going. So, have a great day and stay tuned for tomorrow's video. I'm going to try to get on around the same time, 2:30, 3 o'clock. I'll put a survey out on YouTube to see what the best time is to get everybody watching. I want as many people possible live so we can get to more interactive questions, comments, concerns, and we can have a very good topic discussion on any topic that you guys want to talk about. Guys, watch the night sky and pay attention to your surroundings. Have a great day.